Hello guys, welcome to CreativeWorks. Today I am going to show you how to convert a PSD template into simple HTML. In this video I am going to convert the simple web page template that I had designed in my previous video into HTML5. If you haven't watched my previous video, please go and watch the video, and you can also download the template that I had designed in the video, as I have provided the link in the description. So alright guys, let's get into this. So first of all, open up the PSD template. Once you have opened the template, you can see here we have various sections. Let's open a text editor. I'm going to use Sublime Text. It is very light and easy to use. So create a new document and save it into a folder. It's index.html. It is going to be our main HTML file. Let's give some title to our web page. Alright, let's create a new file which will be our CSS. Save it into a folder CSS and name it style.css. We need to link this CSS file into our main HTML file. To link this CSS file, let's make a link. Alright, now we also need images for our web page. So let's create a folder called images, where we will be putting all the images that we will need in our web page. So open up the Photoshop and just click on the images that we want to save. So control click on the image to select it and then crop it. Alt click on the small eye icon to hide all the layers except the selected one. Save it into the folder images as a PNG file, let's say logo.png. Okay, press Ctrl Alt Z to go back. Now Ctrl D to deselect. So we need the slider image also to be saved. So for this is our slider image. Control click. No, I think it is selecting beyond the image. Let's select using this rectangle there. So control click and crop it. So alt click on the eye icon again to unhide, and now save the image as slider image into a file JPG. Only we need to save the transparent images into the PNG file. Control click on this icon, go to image and crop it, and alt click on the eye icon to hide all the layer except that, and then save it. As icon 1 into a PNG file because it has transparent background. We want its background to be transparent. Now similarly select all these layers and save it. After that we have images on the services section. So control click on the layer below the image layer and go to image and crop. We need a folder for the services because we we want to separate it from other images, and it will make things properly managed. On the same way, crop all the images and save it into the folder. Now we can go into our HTML file and start coding. Before that, let's see how we can start the coding. As we see that we have a header section, and inside header section we have a top header and the main header. In the top header section we can see that we have some info, that is phone number and email, and on the right side we have links. So first of all, inside top header, let's create. So first of all, we need to write some CSS. Let's begin with some generic CSS. Generic CSS means the CSS that most of the part of your code will be using the same CSS. So first of all, reset everything. We can see the font family is open sans and the size is 14 pixel. So we need to use that font. We can find this font from the Google library, which is fonts.google.com. Go to this website. You can see a bunch of different fonts that you can use in your website. So just type open sans, and here I have got this font. You can customize this font. Okay, I'm going to use regular and bold, and I don't want to use any other things, because the more you use, the site will be slower, as it needs to load every types of font face. In my website, I'm going to use only the regular and the bold. And the next font is Roboto Condensed that I am using in different heading. So first of all, select this and go to embed. Now here is the link that you need to put in your head section of the document. So let's put it right there and just copy this, that we want to specify the CSS. So let's give a CSS to the body. Font family open sans sans serif, and the font size will be 14 pixel and the line height about 21 pixel. These are the generic CSS that I am using, because this CSS will be used by almost every part of my website. And I'm going to use color X222, that is my base color for the text and different headings. Now the next font we need to use is Roboto Condensed. So let's find this font in the Google, search the Roboto Condensed. Okay, here it is. Just select this font. You can also customize it. I'm going to use only the regular and the bold that I have used in my template. So just copy this link as before and just paste in your HTML file. Now copy this CSS, and I'm going to use this font for some headings, let's say H1, because on the other parts I have used the font open sans, and just for some heading titles I'm going to use this font. So the basic font size I'm using is 30 pixel, and since every text that I'm using Roboto Condensed are transformed uppercase, so I'm going to make them uppercase. And the font weight is bold, So let's write some more CSS, more generic CSS that almost every part will be using. As you can see, we have some margin in our heading. So almost every part have same margin, so let's give it a margin bottom of about 45 pixels. If you write this CSS before creating the website, it will be easy for you. And also for the heading too, I'm using same styles, except I'll be using the font size of 20 pixels and the margin bottom of about 26 pixels. Now I want to define the classes pull left will float the contents to the left, and the class pull right will be floating the contents to the right. And I want to define the end of the generic CSS section, so that you can manage all the generic CSS. If you need to add, you can define them on that section of the CSS. So create a ordered list for the info, for phone number and email. Since you can see, I have used the icons for the phone and email, and the way you can get the icon is you don't need to use the images for each icon. You can just use the icon library, just download the font. Once you have downloaded, open the folder, extract it, and now we don't need other things. We can delete it, and that is what we need. And you can delete these three also. So we need to link this CSS file into our document. To do this, just copy the above one and give the path like this. Now once you have linked the font awesome, you can use the icons. There are hundreds of icons present in this package, so you can just create the classes to use this icon. Let's say I class of Yafe phone. This will give you the icon of the phone. And for the email, you can create the icon on the same way. Just you need to do is put the class. You can find the classes for different icon by going to this website. I already know some classes for the icon, so I am using it. Something seems wrong. The icon is not displaying. Let me see. Okay, the problem is I haven't defined the relation of the style. The relation will be style sheet, so I need to define it on both of these CSS files. Now I think it may work, but the content is appearing from the corner. Now for the right links, just copy and paste this list, and the right portion will be links, so put them into the anchor tags. Okay, once you've done that, I want to define a container. The width of the container will be 1140 pixel. So give it a width of 1140 pixel and margin 0 auto to place it at the center, and we'll put everything inside the container. Inside the header, I created a container where I'll put my top header and main header. So first of all, I want to give some CSS for the header section. You can separate this CSS from the generic CSS because this CSS I'll be using only for the header section. Now let's add some padding for this list. Okay, looks good. The next thing is we need border on the left of the info and on the right of the links. So let's create a CSS. Now everything looks fine. Set the color of the anchor tag to x222 and text decoration to none. Now we need a border at the bottom of the top header. Give a border bottom of 1 pixel to the top header. I think it's not working because we have floated the contents on the left and right, and we need to clear everything after we float. So create a class clearFix that will clear the both sides, and below the div that we have floated, let's create a div clearFix that will clear the both sides. Now we can see the line, but I want to make this line full width. So what I can do is I can put this container inside the top header. Okay, looks fine. Now we have completed the top header section. The next thing we can do is create a main header section. In the main header section, we are going to have a logo and some navigations. Writing the alternative text for the image is very important because sometimes when the image is not loaded, the alternative text will show up. Now let's create a navigation. I want to float the navigation to the right section, so I want to give it a class of full right that we have already created, and I want to create an unordered list of the links. I want to create another div for the search. Inside this div, I just want to put an icon of search. Looks fine. I want to float my navigation to the left and my search icon to the right. Now let's give some spacing for the main header. And for the links, let's give some padding. In the main header section, I want to give padding to the anchor text and not to the li, because if I do that, when I hover on the padding area of the link, I can click on that, so it is much necessary. So give it a font size of 15 pixel and bold, and transform the text to uppercase. Now looks good. I want to wrap this search icon inside the button because I want to click on that button to display a search box, which I will be doing later. So create a button and put the search icon inside the button. Now you can write some CSS to arrange these navigations and search icon. Okay, looks fine. Now our header section is complete. Once you have completed the section, you can comment it, so it will be easier for you to work on that later. Now let's create a new division called slider, and in this section I'm going to put a slider that I'll be using a plugin. So for now I'm going to just put the image here. I'll be putting the actual slider later. So okay guys, this much for this tutorial. I'll be dividing this whole tutorial into 3 different parts, and once I have completed these 3 parts, I'll be uploading the link from where you can download this HTML file. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like the video and don't forget to subscribe, and also please put your comments into the comment section. I'll be uploading the next video as soon as possible. Thank you.